So, on the 22nd of March, Sky released the first episode of their new series of Saturday Night Live UK, a conversion of the American format. And you know what? It's not too bad. When I first heard they were making this, my first thought was, why? The UK has a strong tradition in comedy, and sketch comedy in particular. That being said, sketch comedy has sort of been in a downturn the past few years in the UK. The most recent example was Mitchell and Webb Are Not Helping, which was pretty poor. There have been a few good examples in the recent past, such as Ellie and Natasha from 2022, but outside of that, it's been slim pickings. To add on to that, a lot of viewers are turned off by what they see as an American format of comedy. Given the recent clashes in the news between the UK and the US, this doesn't come at a great time either, so it's safe to say a lot of people were preparing for this to be quite terrible. The typical view most people in the UK have of Saturday Night Live is that it sometimes produces quite funny sketches, which they watch on YouTube, the odd good movie like Wayne's World, but is largely pretty bad and borderline unwatchable. The truth of that, I'm sure, is more nuanced, but I think that is the largely held perception. To Sky's credit though, they made some good choices when they made the show. The first good choice was the cast. Some of the cast are more well known than others. Emma Seedy and Hamad Animashon in particular have been in a fair few sitcoms and TV shows over the past few years, and both have promising careers. A few of them are known entities, but not household names. Celeste String has been in a few shows, and Anna Magliano has recently been in Taskmaster, which boosted her profile. The rest of the cast, though, are either in the early stages of their careers or have yet to break through, which means as a whole the cast is largely full of talented people, but none that will steal the spotlight. It's a great decision to go with a cast of up-and-comers, and I'm sure a few of them will greatly boost their exposure through this show and go on to do some cool stuff, which I hope is what Sky is expecting. Nothing helps a show like this more than being able to produce a star, as it means all the new cast members that join in the future will have more eyes on them and their potential. Tina Fey hosts the first episode, which I think is also a good choice. Some would have preferred a British name for the first one, but I think going with Tina Fey works better. It ties the show directly to its American counterpart, and Tina Fey is so experienced in this kind of show that she easily slots into any of the sketches with no friction at all. I'm sure she was also on hand to help give guidance to the young cast members around how to do this kind of comedy, and I think it's worked out well. Okay, with the preface done, let's run through the first episode and take a look at it segment by segment. It starts out with a political sketch about Keir Starmer being too nervous to stand up to Donald Trump. That's about it. It is undoubtedly the worst sketch of the whole show, so the choice to put it first is a bit of a mystery to me. There's not too much to say about this one, he just gets a bit nervous and awkward. They bring in a Gen Z advisor who adds a bit of energy to the sketch, but overall it's got one joke and it's not a particularly good one. Political sketches are fine, and in many ways are sort of the lifeblood of topical sketch comedy, because it's no doubt what has been in the news that week, but it does date it, and it means on any rewatch this sketch will be even worse without the context. Skip this one. Tina Fey's opening monologue is pretty good. Lots of little jokes about this being a remake and Tina being American. We get a few cameos from Nicola Coughlan, Michael Cera and Graham Norton. Graham Norton does a joke about his interviewing style, helping Americans be more palatable to British audiences. Overall, pretty good, and much better energy. They should have just started straight into this. The second sketch is a pre-recorded bit, which is pretty funny. It's about a skincare cream called Underage, which is so good that it gets your husband arrested. Pretty funny, well made, good sketch. The third sketch is a bit of a wild idea. David Attenborough has used the cloning techniques from Jurassic Park to bring back 10 dead people to have a meal together and talk about Britain, called David Attenborough's Last Supper. He brings back various historical figures, Isaac Newton, Freddie Mercury, Queen Elizabeth, with the idea that they talk about what makes Britain great. They end up just spending the whole time talking about what food they want to order. It's not too bad. The best impression though is the Princess Diana. This one's okay. It gives the whole cast a reason to do something, but it loses a bit of steam in the middle. The fourth sketch is a parody of movie interviews called Boovies. It starts off as a typical PR controlled interview with heaps of praise before the interviewer just turns and says he hates the movie. Pretty funny. It doesn't last very long, but Hamad brings the energy with this one and keeps it enjoyable. Good sketch. The fifth sketch is set up like a spy intelligence room, with lots of people at computers and big screens monitoring things. The joke is that they all control the worst parts of the internet. One person makes passwords that are impossible to remember, another makes the X too small in online ads. The culmination of the sketch is a guy who moves the page just when you're about to click on something, so you accidentally click on something else. To which the whole room celebrates like they pulled off a big operation. Pretty good. The sixth sketch is about a pregnancy whereby the doctor comes in and says the baby is someone who is just pretending to be shy for attention. This one drags a little bit, with a lot of the comedy being that Family Guy style, where they just list out various observations of little things people do. The best bit about this sketch is the monitor, which shows the baby dancing and acting up. Not too bad, the monitor makes this one work. We then get a performance from Wet Leg. Good performance, good song. I'm not really a music guy, so I don't have too much to say about this, but I liked it. After that, we move into Weekend Update. This format is taken from the American version, and honestly I thought this wouldn't really work. In the UK, shows like Have I Got News For You already give the template of how UK comics make fun of the week's news, so there was a danger this could be seen as just a shallow version of that. However, they kept it pretty brief, lots of good little jokes, some plays on words. There was a bit where they brought in Captain Birdseye, which didn't really land with me, but overall, pretty funny. It's also clear that they aren't trying to target a family audience with this show. Some of these jokes are pretty dark. The seventh sketch is about Shakespeare, who constantly leaves his family to go to London and then come back changed. He starts off with a new earring, then comes back with a necklace, and finally arrives back very camp. It's quite good. However, I don't think they knew how to end the sketch, as it ends with everyone dancing. I liked it overall though. The eighth sketch was probably my favourite one. It starts off with a typical cheesy look at a new live Paddington Bear experience. However, it suddenly turns when they realise Paddington, who is a real bear, and mauls everyone present, which they then show with a lot of blood, people losing their hands, etc. It's quite funny, and I always enjoy this kind of comedy. We then see Wet Leg again, who give another good performance. The ninth sketch was about a woman going to get a bra fitting. The assistant then offers to zhuzh her up and raise her spirits by making a big deal out of her having big breasts, so everyone outside will be impressed. It was okay, a bit light on jokes for me. The 10th sketch was great. It was called 45 Seconds with 4 Acres, where he sings a little song called What Kind of Irish Is Your Grandad, with each section being a different kind of Irish. Really funny, like this one. And then the show ends with everyone on stage. Overall, I was pretty impressed with the first episode. Sketch shows are always quick fire, and not every sketch can be good. So really, whether a sketch show works or not is all about the balance of good sketches to bad sketches. Let's go through each of them and give them a rating out of 3. Either a green tick if they worked, a yellow dash if they are neutral, and a big red X if they didn't. The first sketch is a red X, no question. It didn't work, and the one joke in it wasn't particularly good. The second sketch was a green tick. It was funny. The third sketch is a yellow dash. It had some funny moments, but overall dragged a little bit and is a bit light on actual jokes. The fourth sketch is another green tick. The fifth sketch is also a green tick. The sixth sketch is a yellow dash. Some funny bits, but could have done with a bit more. The seventh sketch, on the whole, is a green tick, despite the strange ending. The eighth sketch is another green tick, very funny. The ninth sketch is a yellow dash. It was okay, but not too funny. And the final sketch is another green tick, very good. If you tally that up, that's 1 red X, 3 yellow dashes, and 6 green ticks. Overall, for a first episode on a new sketch show, that's a pretty good ratio of sketches that work against ones that don't. They're going to try lots of things and throw a lot against the wall, so I'm impressed that in the first episode, they've been able to find so much that sticks. It's definitely a very promising start. I think of the cast too, there are a few standouts. Anya Magliano did really well in the Weekend Update and seems perfect for that kind of comedy. Hamad was great in all of the sketches he was in and brings a lot of energy to the show. I think the standout for me was Jack Shep, who steals the scene in any sketch he appears. His Princess Diana was really good, and I loved him as the dancing baby. I think as the show goes on, Jack is the one to watch, and so far the most likely to be able to break out and become the star of the show. The rest of the cast did well too, but I think they need a few more opportunities to show what they can do. So I think overall, this was a good first episode. It's not perfect, but as far as a live sketch comedy show goes, they did a very good job. My hope is that they can keep building on it, and receive the kind of support they need to keep up the momentum. I see this as being a fun, easy thing to watch on a Saturday night. You'll get a few laughs and not be bored by the rest of it, which is all you can ask for really. I look forward to seeing the rest of the episodes. I might revisit my appraisal of the show in a year or two once they've had more time to see how things have progressed. Alright, goodbye.